Okay, so yeah, thanks everyone for joining. So it's our first webinar this year for the operational excellence webinars. The idea to share projects, to share tools, presenting and helping each other to learn new methods on how to be more effective and efficient on the way that we work. Today we will have Rulix from IRI will present how they in IRI are sustaining the continuous improvement or the continuous improvement team that they structure there, how they are sustaining the operational excellence projects. And then Christabel from IITA will present one tool that is called 5 Whys. And Martina from IRI will present the crop health improvement project. Before that, I'd like to present some messages and remind some things. So next slide, please, Sonia, thanks. First one, please go to the YouTube channel. You will see there all the webinars that we have already organized for this operational excellence. You will be able to learn and watch if you have doubts, and you can see examples and projects, etc. Next one, please. Please send. Yeah. So the also last webinar, Solomon, that works with Excellence in Reading, presented on how to register in the LMS in our e-learning modules. We have the practical continuous improvement that you can go there, register. It's a 10-hour course. It's a self-paced training. Please go there and register, and you will learn new tools there too. The other next slide, please, Sam. Yeah, thanks. The other one that you can also use, the other platform you can also use to find tools, to find templates, materials, is our toolbox, the EIB toolbox. So please also go there, download any material. You can access in many different materials there. Of course, open for suggestions. If you have suggestions, please also contact us. So the next slide, please. So last meeting or last webinar, we presented the 8 ways. So I'd like to briefly remind you these tools, this tool that can help you to identify areas that you can improve. The first waste is transport. In breeding, it's we can think on the many. Of course, there are many ways related to transport, but one easy one that we can think is in seed processing area. So think on where you have your process. Imagine your process flow. You need to or trash or clean, and then go to the seed dryers and where, think on this movement, if that can't be optimized. Think on where you have your cold storage. If you need to walk more than maybe needed, if that or design was better, no? So the next one is inventory. Of course, many types of waste. You can think on seed storage. So really that it's waste in terms not only in the material, but also in the space. Think on the chemicals that yeah. So there are many options that you can think on the waste. Motion, I can give you a good example. It's a real example that I used to work in a research farm before a company, a seed company, and we started mapping the tractors, where the tractors in the farm, the path that the tractors walked. We put a telemetry in the tractor, and we realized that the tractors, they were not efficient the way that they worked, and by doing that we reduced our in that farm one tractor at the end of this project, and meaning that this one tractor we could save at least $10,000 a year from our operational budget, from consumables, from depreciation, etc. So waiting, we can think on. Imagine if you have people on the field waiting for planting, and your machine is broken. So, or for planting, or maybe the seed didn't arrive. So waste of time, for people that is waiting. Overproduction. Yeah, sometimes we tend to say that we can't work on that because we can't control what we mean. We will produce materials that we plant. Yeah, but sometimes we can think on if we prepare the right number of materials. And I can give you an example too, that in terms of seed processing, we tend to, and this was an example too in our in this same company, we tend, because of the quality of planting, to guarantee that the planter would work, we always put more seeds in the package than we would need. And then later we had to do like fillings or whatever. So overproduction. So we were not fixing the cause. We were trying always to be more conservative. So overproduction. Overprocess, here again, another example for the same company. We because then we bought one planter, one mechanical planter or pneumatic planter, and the breeders. No, we need to separate it was corn. Oh, we need to in different size. So we bought in the seed process. We installed. A screen machine, to separate the grains, the seeds in different size, and we separated in 4 because it was agreed with breeders, etc. And then after moving with the process, improving the process, then we realized that no, what we would need is 3. So meaning that the 2 that we separated, we had to put in bags, we had to put in or people to manage that. So overproduction, we processed more than we would need. Defects, of course, this is easy to think. So imagine in your seed processing or in your or trials, whatever. So the soil preparation was not done properly. So waste of time. So waste because the soil was not prepared properly, so it probably will affect the quality of your plant. So chemical control, so you didn't control properly the weed. So defect in your process. Unutilized talent, thinking on if you train one staff and this staff is not given the chance to perform or to do the work that he was or she was trained, so you are wasting his capacity or her capacity to deliver. So unutilized talent too. So anyway, I'm just trying to remind you some ways. Yeah, so please enjoy our webinar today. Rulix, are you ready? So over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gustavo. Good day to all. Let me share my screen.
Hey, Rolex, your sound is not very loud.
Just use my headset. How is my audio now?
Good.
Okay. And I'll okay, I'll try to move my slides and see if you can see my slides are moving. Hello?
No, it is not Rulix. It is not in the presentation mode. It's in presenter mode. We can see first.
It's not moving.
No.
Maybe some could help me.
Hi, Rulix. I wasn't able to download your presentation actually, so maybe we can do it from your side. If you go back to your PowerPoint, if you
Okay.
click on slideshow,
PowerPoint, slideshow. Yes, that's
and
it.
then if you set it up, I like to use, if you click setup slideshow, I like to use the browse by an individual in the window option. It's a little bit more straightforward when you're using Zoom.
Okay. Sorry.
And now if you present your screen, it should work.
How is it now?
You need to share your screen again.
It's not moving. Okay, let me try.
You need to share your screen again, Rulix. It's not
Okay,
you're not sharing.
Sure. Sorry for that. Share screen. Okay. And then I am using my slideshow. Can you see my screen now?
Now it looks good.
Is it moving now?
It is.
Okay, I'm using now the slide in the drive. Okay, again, good day to all and sorry for the technicalities. I'll be talking briefly about the formation and function of continuous improvement team in ERI. Okay, so can you see the slide now, the pictures? Can you see the pictures at the left side before 5S? Hello, can you see?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see them.
Yeah. This is the seed processing area. This is the actual 2 years ago we had this, and this situation at first became annual and then it became perennial. So we need to clean this up. And after this 5S, this is a tool in the CI training. After implementing this, we were able to avail of this one to come up with this organized condition. So we spent around more than a year, 12 months to do the cleanup, organize everything, and then we spent roughly $12,000. So maybe at first sight, you could see a lot of waste that Gustavo has presented. So why ERI formed the continuous improvement team? That picture I showed to you, that's one of the many reasons. But then, of course, we laid down the foundation or pillar for operational excellence. So this is it. Then, of course, for the efficient use of limited resources. Nowadays, we are facing limited resources, both for the manpower, equipment, and especially the funds. And another thing is we need to sustain on-time research support service of highest quality, safety, and ethical standards. Can you still see my slides moving? We're now at the seed storage area.
Yes, Relix, go ahead.
Yes. So again, this is the seed storage area. It's also our perennial problem. It's really a big challenge that once you go into that room, you could enter sideways. It seems that you cannot move, you cannot feel the air conditioning unit. Then again, after the 5S, it's just a very simple tool. So we made this thing up to this time. We are maintaining this one. Okay. So how we formed the continuous improvement team at ERI, because it is now a need. We need to clean up things, put things in order, everything, all other things. And at the same time, we will sustain that one. Otherwise, we'll keep on going back to what's the problem before. So initially, we had this training program. Around 18 ERI staff attended. And then from that group, ERI selected, we call that CI champion or continuous improvement champion. That person is, that position is supposed to lead and facilitate the next phase of training. So it's just like training the teachers to be. And then, of course, we need the endorsement and approval from the top management. This is to make sure that we have the full support to this initiative. So once we have that, we properly communicate through the ERI bulletin, that access bulletins. We have this lot of means of communication, but the most effective is the bulletin. And then from there onwards, also we start to engage staff. That's very important, engaging of staff. So once we engage the staff, we need to select who are the members. At first, we thought that nobody will be interested. There's no buy-in, but we were surprised that a lot of staff now are interested to know what's this all about. So we need to select at first few members so that it would be manageable. So we decided to select on the senior NRS. This is across ERI, supposed to be for the two platforms, but then we decided to make it across ERI. So we talk to them individually, engage them, confirm their interest because they'll be spending time, and then their work background so that we could have a balance of the time devoted for the continuous improvement training, and at the same time, they can attend to their daily operations. Okay, there is no expenses incurred in here. It's just only the time, dedication, and interest. Okay, then we inform the respective supervisors, of course. Their supervisor must approve and allow their staff to attend to this one. Okay. So what you can see here, you can still see my screen, it's moving. This is the 2021 CIT. This is in ERI HQ. But then we invited Thiago Mendes from CIP. And of course, Guru is now based in, he's now in India. So he is assigned to lead the regional hubs for when it comes to CI training. So what's been done with that team? That team that I have showed to you, this one, we attended the 10-hour practical CI training. Remember that practical continuous improvement training that Gustavo showed to us. So online, you can attend to that. And then after online training, we set a weekly schedule so that virtually we can meet each other, we can talk, we can discuss, we can confirm anything with Teresa. And then out of this team, we were able to identify 4 mini projects. So this is very important, 4 mini projects, making sure that is easy, simple, enjoyable, so as not to burn out the members, enjoyable, and as much as possible, that be part of their routine work. Okay. So then a follow-up. After they have graduated, they will present their projects to the leadership. And then there's another follow-up training. We call that Lean Practitioner online training. By the way, this CI practical online training, this is 10 hours. The Lean Practitioner, this is 30 hours. Okay. So this time, this Lean Practitioner, this is synchronous. It means to say that is we devote a weekly meeting, and then Teresa and I will be there facilitating. So of course, this pakak with references. So this time we divided the team into two bigger projects. These bigger projects are the projects that's what's really needed by the RBI and the Rice Breeding Innovation platform, and the other platform, the service unit platform, the service research support platform. So we talk, we discuss, we deliberate in what could be the significant or important two bigger projects, and these are now ongoing. Then after that, of course, after they have prepared the projects, again, we call on them and then present it to the leadership. So after that, we have engaged other staff. So along the way, along the series of training, we were able to engage other staff. So we told them that, okay, next year we'll be organizing again for you to attend to that. So this is what we call sustaining. So this is planned tentative, but most likely this will push to the next month. You can see here the three big groups that we were able to identify. All supervisors, you can see here the project area. Time frame is to be arranged because we need to discuss that during the training itself. So we have here the project area in the maintenance of Ziegler Experiment Station, that's ZS, managed field. So we need a simple maintenance of the field, clean it, making sure that there's no disease spreading around. So this is a very simple project, but it has a big impact to the seed quality being produced. So tentative is just 3 months. Then another thing is the centralized post-harvest activities. A lot of ways that can be identified, and it's still ongoing. Okay, you might see here a lot of big numbers of participants, but it's just a target number. So we still don't know how much will signify, maybe lower than that. If more than that, then maybe we will divide again. Okay. So the role, what is the role of continuous improvement team? Maybe you might think you're not thinking of, if you want to organize CIT in your center, in your hub. So what could be the possible role? Of course, this will serve as your core team that will teach and promote CI. So the goal of this is to develop continuous improvement. It's a mindset. It becomes a mindset, a culture, and robust problem-solving skills. This is the main objective of this. And the primary focus of this one is to improve breeding operations in line with the improvement of breeding strategies. So the ultimate goal is to improve breeding operations. Okay, we just started with the research support service in close collaboration with the RBI, the Rice Breeding Innovation Platform. Okay, so moving forward, we have all these. We envision these initiatives and function to work together to create and implement CI employee development plan. So this is being coordinated with the HR. And then we're planning to propose that this be linked to their performance evaluation. Okay, so engaging employees in practicing its principles and concepts through daily improvement and larger projects. You know, this CI training, you can apply this personally at home. So anywhere you can apply this one. Simple, just identify simple things that you need to improve. So it starts with simple, small things to become more bigger. Then collaborate with the leadership. This is very important to have a support from the leadership to make it more sustainable. So in the case of IRRI, we're able to have the approval and support of our leadership. And we are now in the process of sustaining it. This will be the second year. Okay. And this is it. This is IRRI. We hope to maintain this. This picture has been taken before pandemic. You can see here the tractor pulling the trailer full of visitors. Okay, thank you very much. And that ends my presentation.
Thanks, Relix. Christabel, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, Gustavo.
So please introduce yourself, share your screen, and start your presentation.
Thank you, and good day to everyone. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So my name, as you can see, is Christabel Nachilima from IITA. I work under the soybean breeding program. I'll be sharing with you the root cause analysis using the 5Y tool. So a root cause analysis is actually the process of discovering the underlying cause or a source of a problem in order for you to identify appropriate solution or remedies to that problem. One thing we should keep in mind, or we know, is that beneath every problem lies a cause. So when you're trying to solve a problem, we need to consider the following 2 steps. First of all, we need to identify the cause of that problem and find ways of eliminating these causes and prevent them from recurring. Because most of the time we have a tendency of probably trying to eliminate a cause without going in details to actually find the root cause. So in trying to understand the root cause, I think the easiest way to do it is actually to think of common problems that we face almost every day or at least once in a while. So an example that I'll give is when we are sick and we're throwing up at work, obviously the first thing that we're going to do is to ask a doctor to give us the root cause of that problem. Or if our tractor breaks down at work, we're actually going to ask a mechanic to actually help us to find out the root cause of the problem. But when you look at these two problems that I've shared, we can actually come up with a simple remedy. By one, if I'm throwing up, I don't need to go for work. Probably I'll just stay at home and I'll use a bucket when I feel like vomiting. Or if my tractor is broken down, we can actually resort to using manual labor, or we can borrow from another department. But when you look at these solutions that I've given to the problems, we're just focusing on the symptoms, on treating the symptoms, but we are not looking at the underlying cause of those symptoms that we are seeing. And for instance, when you're throwing up, when you consult a doctor, you might find that you have a bacterial infection and it requires medication. Or if the tractor has broken down, you may find that it's a malfunctioning of the alternator and it needs to be repaired. So these two examples are just emphasizing the importance of us performing the root cause analysis so that we'll be able to understand the cause of the underlying problem when we're trying to solve it. So one of the applications of this root cause analysis is what we had a good explanation of the 8 wastes, and we can apply the root cause analysis in actually dealing with the wastes, because we understand that inefficiencies in our processing, in our production, it results into wastes. And this will affect our host resources. So it's important that we apply the root cause analysis to also understand why those wastes are occurring. We don't make assumptions, but we apply the root cause analysis. It will actually help us to get to the root cause of the waste, and also finding ways of actually how we can eliminate those wastes that we actually experience in our work. So in root cause analysis, there are a couple of tools that are used. And in this presentation, we're only going to focus on the 5 whys, but in the coming webinars, there will be more presentation on the other tools that will be shared. So the ones that I'll focus on is actually the 5 why tool. So the 5 why is actually a method or tool used in continuous improvement to help us understand the root cause of an issue or a defect. It also used when it's difficult for us to understand the true reason why the process is not working, or why we keep having defects in our processes or in our production. So this one is very useful in us identifying that. It's actually very simple, but very powerful too, when you want to get to the core complex of the problem. The idea is that you try to ask yourself why 5 times, and you probably get to the root cause of that problem that you're actually trying to work on. So, okay, so when to use this tool is when a problem is not easily understood by the group. So if you've tried to analyze a problem and you're failing to understand it, the 5 why is actually the tool to use. Or if you want to get your group to think in a different way of why something keeps happening or why something is happening, 5 why is the tool to use. It also helps us to understand the relationship between cause and effect. And it also helps us to get to the bottom of the issue. So once you identify the cause of an issue, you will be able to put up measures that will prevent it. But if you don't get to the root cause or the countermeasures that you're going to implement, you will find that the problem will occur again. But that is what we are trying to actually eliminate in the program, in the crop improvement, eliminate the occurrence of the problem continuously. So when you look at the 5 why tool, you can actually use it in a lot of situations or in a lot of problems, even some that you feel you know the answers to. But when you try to use the 5 why, you are actually going to be surprised when you get to the root cause. An example of us, like an example of the soybean breeding, probably we would ask ourselves, why was the yield low last season or the previous season? Or we can also ask ourselves, why was my manuscript rejected? Or why is dinner not ready? Why is the greenhouse temperature too low? These are some of the questions that you can ask yourself. Try to use the 5 why, and you're going to get to the root cause of why you're having these problems. So how now do we use this 5 why tool? Because we've learned about it. So first of all, we need to identify the problem, because for us to deal with, to fight the cause, we need to identify what problem we need to deal with. And then ask, why does this problem exist? So each time you get an answer, ask another why. So you keep asking why, you ask at least about 5 times, and until you all agree to say, okay, this would be the root cause of the problem. So once you reach that root cause of the problem, formulate some solution or countermeasures to reduce or eliminate it. And you might also find it very helpful to evaluate the effects of your proposed solution and countermeasures by using the if and then prediction tool. I think this is one of the tools that will also be taught in the future webinars. So I want to give you an example of how we have used it in the soybean breeding program. So in the soybean breeding program, one of the challenges that we identified was delay in the seed shipment. So we took time to ask the 5 whys of why we are delaying, because some of our partners would complain missing the window for planting. So we found that the first answer was that there's delay in phytosanitary certificate or export permit processing. Then again, we asked why. There's delay in the import permit processing from collaborators, because we need to get the import permit from them for us to process the export. Then why is that the case? So we also delay in sending them the invoice. So why is that the case? Delays also is coming in because of the entry list. We get the entry list, we delay to formulate it for the materials that need to be tested in those locations. So the root cause was found to be that the seed inventory is not up to date. So for us to actually deal with the delay in seed shipment, we need to actually work on our inventory. We need to be updating our inventory for us to eliminate that one. The next example is on what we actually identified as a problem in the yam breeding, because we are currently doing a crop improvement training with Teresa. So we are doing the yam breeding seed processing. So we found that one of the challenges or the problem that was identified is overpollination. So why was that the case? We found that we make many crosses than required, so that we can try. Why was that? Because we want to increase the success rates. And why was that? Because in the previous, we've experienced low success rates, which is not the requirement. So the root cause that was discovered in this case was that there was lack of pollen testing kits. So before we could make the crosses to test which pollen are viable, we don't have that. So as a result, we end up making more pollination than required. Then the third example is in the delay in seed packing. So the question was, this is in the soybean breeding again, why is there delay in seed packing? If you can see on the picture that I've shared, you find that all the seeds are piled together. So the first answer was that it is actually very difficult for us to track the seed, because once we get the entry list, we need to track the seed from the pile that you are seeing there. So why is that the case? Is because all the harvested materials are piled in one small place. This is actually due to limited space. So what we discovered as a root cause for the delay in seed packing is actually insufficient seed storage facilities, because there's only one seed storage facility. So if we could deal with the storage facilities, increase the spacing, then we'll be able to deal with the delay in seed packing. And the last example I want us to practice, I want everyone to see how interesting the 5 why tool is. So I would want people to try and answer this question. I chose this example because I feel we've all experienced it one way or the other. The question is, why is a child late to school? So I would ask, if you have a pen and a paper, you just write down your answers just to practice, so that we see what would be the root cause. Then I'll be also writing my answers. I'll be asking why, I write an answer, then you also participate by writing your own answers on the paper, then we see what could be the root cause. So the first question is, why is the child late to school? I think my answer would be probably the child woke up late. That would be the answer. Because the child woke up late. Then the next question would be, why did the child wake up late? Please feel free to answer to give your own answers so that you can see the root cause of why some of this, why the child would be late, because probably we've never paid attention to come to the root cause. Then why did the child wake up late? Probably he stayed up late. The next question would be why again? You would discover that maybe the child was watching TV. The next question would be why? So why was the child watching TV late? Maybe because, what can I say? Because no one told him to go to bed. No one told the child to go to bed. Why? Why is that the case? Because probably the guardian and the parents or the guardian was busy with work, or busy in the kitchen. So this would be, I feel like when we ask the question, why was the child late? Sometimes we may end up blaming the child. And we say, because he stayed up late, and we start blaming the child. Why did he stay up late? And we forget that there's a root cause. In my case, I found that the root cause of this is because, one, the guardian was actually busy and they didn't remind the child that the child needs to go to bed. So if we could work on making a schedule for the child to time to sleep, and you also make sure you remind them to go to bed, we will be able to eliminate this problem that we identified, that the child goes to school late. Yes, I hope everyone participated, and I hope everyone has enjoyed this simple tool. Thank you so much, and that's the end of my presentation.
Thanks, Christabel. Yeah, good work. You presented also some tangible things that you did in your daily work, meaning that this is simple tools that can help you. Sometimes we think in super modern solutions, machines, etc., but the solution may be simple, and need to be simple. And yeah, congratulations. So Martina, are you there?
Yes, I am.
So yeah, please share your screen, introduce yourself, Martina. The floor is yours.
Let me try sharing my screen here.
So maybe Christabel needs to stop sharing. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Okay, here. I think you can all see my screen. Is there any pop-up bothering?
Yeah, we can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, great. Hello, everyone. My name is Martina Castellón. I was the project lead. I am still the project lead of this continuous improvement project named Addressing Health Through Sustainable Skills Management. This project was initiated early 2020. So during the very beginning of this epidemic. Now it's well advanced. and we have some interesting results also. So I thought of some sharing this story with you. So hope you can follow it. Sorry, in the past I had like part of the team collaborating during the presentation, during the voices, but some of them are on medical leave. I will just talk with me. I will try to play it myself. I hope you enjoy. This project could start as once upon a time, there was a breeder complaining about delayed shipment. If
So
you'd ever
Martina,
heard-
sorry, we are still on the first slide. I
Yes,
don't know if you,
yes, that's
okay,
correct.
yeah,
That's
sorry,
correct.
yeah, thank you.
If you'd ever heard of this before, you may want to hold to your seat and listen to this story. It was mid-2019, and the Erie IRS Integrated Research Support Platform leaders and hybrid rice breeding cluster were holding a meeting to address issues for improvement related to seed production for the HRDC. Shipment delays was part of the agenda. Clearly understanding the major impact that these delays have in breeding programs and being recently on board as a seed health unit lead, I was eager to find out what were the reasons behind the shipment that had taken over 6 months to be completed. The conversation that happened during that meeting was something like this. Okay. Why were these seeds delivered so late in the season? I asked one of the hybrid rice scientists. Because they were shipped months late, was the answer. And why were they shipped so late? I asked again. Because the final material list was not ready on time, to reply. Oh, may I ask why was that? I asked again as I was starting to feel like a 5-year-old annoying kid. Well, that's because it takes too long to obtain the seed health test results that are necessary to clear the seed lots for export. Oh, just when the discussion was becoming more interesting, one of my SHU specialists replied emphatically, oh, but that's only because you request us to replace the seed lots in your material list. And why is that? I inquired as I was now absolutely intrigued. Because they tested positive for nematodes and other diseases, and those seed lots needed to be replaced. Problem is, most of the seed lots are contaminated. New seed lots keep testing positive. Okay, now I was startled. How come? A positive result is supposed to be an exception, not the norm. So just wondering, if all the seed lots are contaminated, why don't we focus on improving the crop health to obtain healthy seeds to start from, instead of wasting resources with the current procedure? It took these men twice to get to the underlying problem. A few months later, the Excellence in Breeding platform brought us the opportunity to implement the lean methodology for continuous improvement to address crop health through sustainable field management. The team members have been selected from the hybrid rice breeding cluster, Roy and Anna, and from the research support units involved in the process, the cross-cutting operations, experimental stations, acid health unit, Belle, Cheryl, Ben, and Bede and Julie. The purpose was to deliver a solution based on the optimization of field management and the implementation of best practices that would lead to effectively and efficiently reduce the level of pathogen contamination of rice seeds produced at Erie campus. Rice seed production includes several sub-processes from planning through land preparation, field and crop management, seed quality management, and seed distribution. Though field management in Erie normally includes disease management and pest control activities, these measures had shown to be ineffective or insufficient to meet the customer's requirements. Instead, implementing an enhanced seasonal field management program that included field activities with a proven record of success in controlling pests and diseases would improve the crop health status. And this would result in better seed quality with shorter turnaround times for compliance with movement.
Martina, have you changed slides? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So along 12 remote sessions, this team had walked along the Lean roadmap and implemented the 5 principles of Lean. A project charter was set up and kept being updated and adjusted along the process. The problem was initially addressed by establishing the purpose statement, identifying the customer and the critical to a customer and critical quality, defining the process flow and using the value stream map and typo. The root cause analysis was carried out through brainstorming, using the fishbone diagram and multiple voting, 5 whys, and later further weighing possible causes using the interrelationship diagram, a priority matrix, and the if-then approach. Along the process, special attention was put on identifying and reducing the existing waste. Once done, the lean action plan was put together and captured in a Gantt chart. As the project moved forward, we relied on the communication plan established in the project charter, as well as the control plan to follow up on the established metrics to meet our goals and deliver. So the measures we implement, including the development of a guideline for pest and disease management and best practices for targeted pathogens, and the establishment of a culture of quality and excellence that included the identification of critical control points in standard procedures, defining IRRI's quality requirements with external service providers, and ensuring proper communication and awareness across all the involved staff. So during the first year, some of the best practices were adopted, such as land preparation, standardization of land preparation, preventive use of crop protection products, fertilizer management, and seed rotation. And our preliminary data showed an effective reduction of the target pest, in this case, the white-tip nematode, from 60% to 10% incidence compared to the previous year. The white-tip nematode is a regulated non-quarantine pest in the Philippines, and a major concern in rice seed import and export for the National Plant Protection Organization in the Southeast Asia region. The presence of this pathogen in a consignment is enough for the shipment to be stopped and the cargo returned or even destroyed at the port of entry. So the implementation of these measures, together with other improvement projects, allowed IRRI to significantly reduce shipment lead times from a mean of 5 or 8 months to 3 to 8 weeks. Relying on the continuous improvement approach and quality standards, IRRI strives to keep improving crop health, and it is proving to be of high impact to breeding programs. And we will then continue breeding happily ever after. Thank you.
Thanks, Martina. So I couldn't hear well. You said that you improved from how many months to?
We had mean time for this team of 5 or 8 months, and we are currently able to ship in a matter of weeks, 3 to 8 weeks. Of course, other improvements were involved, but this was a major one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, good result. So I think we have time for questions now. If you have any question, please feel free to put your question in the chat or raise your hand. Yeah. Or I don't know if Rulix, Christabel, or Teresa, if you have any comment or addition to what each other had presented. Okay, so I don't see neither question nor comment in the chat. Okay, so Amir, how do you feel after using continuous improvement tools? So I suppose this question is for both of them. I don't know who would like to answer, Martina, Christabel, or Rulix. Or maybe I can nominate, maybe Martina, can you comment on how do you feel using the continuous improvement tools?
Yes, sure. Well, it actually has a lot of logic behind it, right? Just by being able to eliminate waste, it's like you can focus on the real, it's like this Pareto tool, right? That you're really focusing on what brings the most outcome and you have a clear idea of what you expect, and you can plan and work on it. It's a game changer.
Yeah, thanks, Martina. Yeah, this is not a rocket science. It's simple organizing the thoughts and to solve the problem. It's a problem solving, and focus on clients, focus on what need to be done. Yeah, so I see Teresa, please jump in.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on, I think it was Rulix that had some notes on how continuous improvement, operational excellence, it's a mindset, it's a way of thinking, and how we would develop a culture of continuous improvement. And just in relating that to Martina's project, she started out with a project, but her project was based on a major process. I mean, most of her work on that process. And we talked about it being a journey, and it doesn't ever stop. It continues. And as they solve one problem, then they start working on the next round of improvement and finding more and more areas where they can continuously improve that whole major value added process that they have there in Erie. So that's what we're trying to work with everyone to help you with some simple tools and processes of problem solving to help develop that mindset and way of thinking. That's all.
Thanks, Teresa. I see one question here to Christabel. Christabel, so how do we fix the outcome of our 5 whys if the result is only achievable in the long term? For example, I lost that. For example, where is that? I can't see. Sorry, I lost that. Oh, okay. For example, a large centralized store from Christabel's presentation. So, Christabel, you want to help or to respond to that? Yeah, I can comment too. I mean, the question is not really on identifying things that I mean, in the case, Christabel, you need space, and that is one of the additional code storage. I don't have details of that project too, but the point is not only that; it's also identify simple things that you can do, and maybe things need to be long term and require investment, but maybe not. And if we only think on the long term, on the expensive things to solve our problems, I mean, this would be complex. We need to as Teresa and Rulix said, this is a mindset. We need to think in things that we can, and these tools that can, I mean, these two is a problem or identification or root cause identification tool. And of course, there are other tools that more related to problem solving tools. And these tools you will learn too during these webinars. So yeah, so you see fishbone diagram or spaghetti diagram, many other tools that you have the chance to learn, and these tools can help you to identify the way to solve your problem. I don't know if we have other questions.
Okay, I would like to add on.
Please, Christabel, go ahead.
Yes, I think just as Gustavo said, the 5 why to help us to identify the root cause of the problem. So the most important is at this stage we are at is to identify the root cause. then there will be more tools that we're going to learn that will now help us to know how to deal with or how to solve the problems that would have, or the root cause that I would have identified. So if it's a long term, we still have to solve it, because if we don't, we'll still keep having the same problems over and over again. So the most important is, once we identify the root cause, we need to work towards eliminating it for us to have improvement in the processing or in the processes that we have. So even if it's taking long, the most important is, once we identify that, we need to come up now with ways of implementing now the solution, or how to solve that problem for us now to completely eliminate it. And the easier way is also what Gustavo says. We can also look up simple solutions that can easily fix the cause that we might have identified using the 5 whys. Thank you.
Gustavo, can I add?
Sure,
More?
Felix, go ahead.
This is Felix. Taking the case of Erie, I think this is a very valid question by Kihendi. And what we did, the approach was, we try to categorize the short term, mid-term, and long term. And then for each category, you have different tools. You will learn that once you attend the CI training. And depending on the case, we have this spark plot also. While you are solving the problem, you might think of another problem or another solution. You will learn that also in the training. So that's the approach. Start with the very simple. Otherwise, you're going to burn out yourself and the team if you start with a complicated problem in long term. So that's the approach that we did. And it might be that this long term or complicated one could be accumulated simple, small problems. So that's how we did in the Erie case. And then for the question by Geoffrey Onaga, yeah, this is very valid also. This is very important. What we did is, and CI training is not only for cleaning up all these things of what we see. This is very applicable in terms of documentation. So organizing the documents, inventory, all these things, even the tool that we are using to monitor the movement of seeds, the amount, seed viability, how long are you going to keep this one, and the proper tracking. So all these will be tackled and are being tackled in one by one. So thank you for raising these questions. Only that, Gustavo. Thank you.
Yes. So Martina, you have your.
Yes, thank you, Gustavo. I wanted to add also there in the problem solving, the team contribution is the key, because problem solving is all about coming up with creative solutions, like think out of the box. Whatever has worked so far is not working anymore. So what you have in place does not deliver what you need, what your customer needs, or what can meet your requirements. So you need to find creative solutions. And when we are talking about creativity, the team contribution is the key. So the having these continuous improvement teams working on a project, and these teams being a part of different units within an organization is a key for success.
Thanks, Martina. Yeah, so we are running out of time here now. Teresa, you have your hand raised. You want to comment? Or it's a rolled hand?
Yes, I'm sorry. I just forgot to take my hand down.
Yeah, but yeah, thanks. So thanks, everyone. So if you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or if you want to learn more, please feel free to contact us. Or as I said too in the beginning, go to our YouTube channel. This recording will be there too with others, and LMS material, toolbox, you will see materials there that can definitely help you to improve your whatever process you manage or you work. Yeah, so thanks again. So see you the next webinar.
Thank you for attending.
Thanks, Martina, Rulix, Cristabel, too, for presenting.
Thank you.
also.
Thank you, Gustavo and Rita, for inviting us.
Yeah, thank
See
you,
you in
Gustavo,
our next
Teresa.
webinar.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hi.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.